back to the Versatile PC channel. Today we'll be looking at the 700 GRE in the Black Ops 6, the Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We did some benchmark testing using it. So talk about the settings of the, let's talk about the specs of the PC first. We use the 7900 GRE, the Red Devil powercolor. Put it in this PC right here, which is a MSI B650-P Wi-Fi motherboard. It has Corsair Vengeance 6000 megahertz CL30 RAM in it, DDR5. It has a Ryzen 7 7700. CPU cooler is a Cooler Master Hyper 212. And we used the Rogue Strix 850 watt power supply with the wattage, with the watts screen on the side, digital display. We used the Battle.net version of BO6, so you can get BO6 on both, or on Steam, you can get on Battle.net, and you can get on Xbox Game Pass, but we used the Battle.net version of the game, prepared it across all of them. We did the benchmarks at 1080p and 1440p using the ultra quality preset for ours for initial testing, and then we use our recommended settings, which you'll see at the end of this video, the recommended settings for basically the game from us. And then yeah, so during the testing, the 7900 GRE pulled about, the max we've seen was 408 watts from the side of the power supply, is the highest wattage we've seen. So to keep that in mind, so let's jump into the benchmark testing. First benchmark pass, we were using the ultra quality preset, not the extreme. This is going to be at 1080p. Let it play, and then I'll come back with the results. Alright, so let's go to the results. Display, same display we always use. 300. That's the frame limit of the game. 1080p. No upscaling like we used on most of these testing. We use no upscaling on, especially on the ultra quality preset. Average FPS of 163. Lowest 30s were 130, and lowest first was 123. Server latency of 14. And so this is the ultra quality preset, not the extreme, at 1440p. Our average FPS 131, 109 the lowest bid, the 99 the lowest first. Average FPS 131, the lowest first was current, so same thing here. 98% GPU usage, 2% CPU usage. Zone 1, 109 average FPS, 96 lowest, 5th, 100% bottleneck. Zone 2, 120 average FPS. That was first. That's all that. Zone 3, 135 average FPS, 94. 106. Did I do all the zones here? Oh, 151, 116, 120, 124. So there's those numbers for zone 4. Zone 5, 128 average FPS. Again, it's 100% bottleneck on the GPU side of it, which is what we wanted. Go through all the zones. Zone 1, average FPS 163. This is all the zones. 163, 123 lowest, and 130 lowest 5th. 93% bottleneck now. So we're using a little bit more CPU than we were before, but it's only a little bit. Zone 1, 136 average FPS. 118, 122. Again, I'll say this. I will say this. The Lowtown map that they use in the bottleneck is definitely one of the harder maps to run in the game. So if you're running a different map, you'll get actually a higher FPS than this. Zone 1. Zone 1. Pause there for a second. You look at this. Zone 2. You're gonna pause it and let you look at this. Let's go to our results. 4040p, upscaling off. 2700 GRE. Average FPS of 183. Lowest 5th of 144. Lowest 1st is 155. Zone 1, 154 average FPS, 100% GPU utilization. Zone 2, 180 average FPS with 70%. Zone 3, 182 average FPS. This again, Zone 3 does seem to average or to leverage the CPU a lot more. Zone 4, 215 average FPS. Zone 5, 178 average FPS. First things first, in your display settings, which you're going to look at, your display mode. So I should the game. All right, so your display mode, you want that to be full screen exclusive. To get higher frame rate, you could do full screen borderless if you tab it in and out a lot, but for just normal gamers, full screen exclusive. Your monitor, display monitor, whatever your monitor you're using. Your graphics, your display adapter, you want to be whatever graphics card you are using. So if you're using a 3080 Ti in this case, you're using 4080 or 4090 or whatever you have. Screen refresh rate, you want this to be the highest possible. So if you have a 240 hertz monitor, you want it to be 240 hertz. If you have a 144 hertz monitor, you want it to be 144 or 143.995, whatever. 120 hertz monitor, 119, 60 hertz monitor. Display resolution, you want it to be whatever your monitor is. So mine's 1440p. Aspect ratio, that's automatic, or you can change it if you want it. You restart your shaders. You would do this after you're done with doing all these settings. Display gamma, it says right here, sRGB is usually used for monitors, and BT1886 is for a TV. So if you're on consoles, maybe you use the other one. But if you're playing on a monitor, you'd use the 22 sRGB. Gamma and brightness, you could change this all you want. I keep mine at 55, but you can put it wherever you want. NVIDIA reflex low latency. Now this will only be here if you have an NVIDIA card. So if you're GPU bottlenecked, you want to put it on, turn on. If you're CPU bottlenecked, you want to turn on plus boost. I personally just leave it on plus boost. I keep everything boost clocked already on. So basically, it just runs everything up. It keeps everything spooled up longer. Instead of turn it off, it just makes it to where it just makes everything low latency. So I could technically change it, but so yeah, if you see this, right, NVIDIA Reflex is used to reduce system latency, which increases PC responsiveness. That's what you're basically looking for. Eco mode custom, you can turn it to, if I just read on custom. Who cares about your power bill? No, I'm just kidding. VSync in gameplay menus and VSync gameplay. I turn that off. VSync in menus, you can turn that on if you want your frame rate menu to be lower. Custom frame rate, I turn it on unlimited. So the frame cap of the engine is 300. Menus, you could turn that on like 110, 100, 100, or say even 60 if you want to. Keep everything lower because of, keep everything cooler when you're not just in idle menus, stuff like that. Native menu resolution, I put native, but you can put whatever optimal. It tells you what it reduces, but I just keep mine at native. And then pause game rendering is off. Reduce quality when inactive off. Focus mode is off. HDR, I generally do play with actually HDR on sometimes, but I don't always. That just helps increase visuals. Okay, now this is where you're gonna look at your quality preset. Your quality settings is what you're gonna look at. So in our benchmarking for our ultra preset, we were using this one. We did not use extreme, we used ultra, and then just turned off upscaling. For graphics preset, so we're going to use 100% of our render resolution, so we're using 1440p. Dynamic resolution, we want that off, so none of this matters here. Upscaling sharpness, we turn it off. Actually, I actually use Fidelity FX Cache. Some people do use FSR if you want an extra little bit of frame rate, but it does increase your overall system latency. If you have an NVIDIA card, some people do use GLSS, but I use this one. It just helps the image become sharper, looks better. VRAM scale, depending on your graphics card, is how much I would use the VRAM. So if you have a 12 gigabyte VRAM card, I would put it to 70 to 80 and no higher, because at 80 you might get some micro stutters or some stuttering. On a 16 gigabyte card, I would use 90% or more. If you have like 24 gigabyte card, I'd use 90%. If you have a 8 gigabyte card, I would run it 50 to about 65, whatever you can stand visually, because you'll get stutters, and the game uses, the max I've ever seen is up to like 10 gigabytes of VRAM. So if your card obviously doesn't have 10 gigabytes of VRAM, it's going to struggle. So the higher your VRAM is, the higher I would let it do. Variable frame rate. Variable rate shading, I would turn this on because this actually helps boost your FPS a little bit. Texture resolution, I put mine on low, or actually on normal. I put mine on normal. This is usually high. So your texture resolution is normal. Your filter anisotropic is on high. Depth of field off. Detail quality low. Particle resolution very low. Impacts and sprays. Bullet impact, you can turn this on or off. If you want to see recoil patterns, you can turn it on or off. It's up to you. I personally put mine off. Persistence effects, I turn this off. Again, restarting this game will make it take effect. It does help. It doesn't necessarily hurt frame rate. It does hurt frame rate just a touch, but it does help. It hurts a lot more visual quality than anything. Shader quality, I turn that low. Automated texture streaming, I turn mine to minimal. Some people put optimize and then just turn it down to all the way down to a low, and then download limits they turn it off. But your allocated texture cache size, turn it all the way down. So whatever you put this, just turn this all the way down. Local demand texture streaming, put that on low. Shadow quality very low. Screen shadows off. Occlusion off. Screen space reflections off. Static reflections low. Tessellation off. Volumetric low. Friend physics off. Water grade off. And water quality is off. Alright, so for your view, motion reduction preset. So I turn this off. I don't know if you have to turn this on, but yeah. Field of view, I turn mine at 120. You can put 105, 115, or keep it at stock 80. ADS view affected. Weapon field of view is wide. Third person point of view is 90. Vehicle wide. Motion blur, both of them, weapon and world, are both off. Camera shake, both first and third person are both off. Camera movement, third person ADS transition, and inverted flashbang is off for me. You could technically turn this on if you wanted to. Actually, it might be worth turning it on with people flashing nowadays. Might be worth turning it on so you don't go blinded. So actually, I'm gonna turn it off now. All right, so there's your graphic settings.